Hey, how's it going, everyone? And welcome to Movie Therapy, where my name is Chase, and I'm going to talk to you as if you were my therapist about a movie that I have seen, and I'm going to break it down for you guys, talk about it in real time, and if there's a movie that I'm like on the fence about, maybe talking about it, I can change my mind in a split second. Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm glad that you joined me on my session today. The movie I want to talk about is Deep Water, so let's talk about it. So, Deep Water comes to us from 20th Century Studios, which was a film that got swallowed up in the Disney merger. So, they were trying to figure out how to release this film because it did have some poor test screenings. So, they have found a way to release it, and they're going to release it on Hulu this Friday, March 18th, if you choose to watch it, regardless of what I'm about to say. So, it's directed by Adrian Lin, who's made iconic erotic thrillers in the past, Fatal Attraction, Indecent Proposal, 9.5 Weeks. The guy knows how to make films in this subgenre. He's also only made like 7 or 8 movies, so this is a director that's more about quality than quantity. So, going into this, I was kind of excited because of the director's prolific filmography in this subgenre, and Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. I'm a fan of both of them, and this film spawned their relationship post this movie. So you at least know that the movie's going to have chemistry, right? So what is this movie about? A well-to-do husband who allows his wife to have affairs in order to avoid a divorce becomes a prime suspect in the disappearance of her lovers. So, intrigue, mystery, murder, sexiness. Should have all that, right? So, yeah, and I remember watching the trailer, and I was intrigued, and so I wanted to see what was the fuss about, because I heard about the poor test screenings. I heard that this movie was not received well at all, and they had to go back to the drawing board or the cutting board and edit a different interpretation of the film. So, after watching it, I am a person who is very generous towards a lot of movies. I'm going to keep it real. A lot of the critics I follow, it's very hard for them to kind of go beyond the it's just okay category. When movies come out that they like or they think is one of the best of the year, I really pay attention to. But for the most part, it's hard to make any prolific critic like, a lot of things in a row. A lot of stuff will just kind of feel middle of the road or whatever. I am the type of critic to where I give the benefit of the doubt most of the time. And I'm typically generous. It is hard for me to absolutely hate a movie or dislike a movie. Very hard to do that. So when I see one and I think like that, that's a huge feat in my eyes. Because Deep Water achieved that. I don't like this movie. I don't care to watch it again. It was a one and done situation for me. So let me try to explain myself. So, as an erotic thriller, I think your two main things are to be sexy or horny or whatever word people want to do to describe these movies, while also being a genuine intrigue with the mystery, building up suspense, and really playing with your mind in that whole psychological factor of the thriller part. I think those are the two of the main things that you need to do for this type of subgenre. This movie does none of that. To address, the steaminess, if you will, coming off of this movie, I don't think there is any steam whatsoever. It's kind of, I guess to put it in appropriate terms, kind of limp. And it doesn't really charge anything in me as I'm watching this to see any type of sexual chemistry on screen. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it was really depressing, and it didn't really, didn't really spark anything in that sense. Also, the mystery of the film is a bit lackluster. It's a very rinse and repeat cycle type of film where it's the same thing that happens over and over again. You're wondering what the end game is, and then once the end game happens, then the movie ends, so there's no definitive ending. It's not even an ambiguous ending. It's just a ending that just stops. And you're like, it's like a cliffhanger for a show, but you're like, this isn't a show, this is a movie. So there's that. And I thought the only thing that really worked is the chemistry between the two leads. Even though their marriage is falling apart, you can get a sense of like why they are attracted towards each other, even though they're both kind of despicable people. You can understand that, and the most effed up way possible. But their chemistry was like the only thing I really appreciated about this movie. I didn't really like the way this movie looked. It looked flat. I hated the kind of gray and dark green color palette it had. It just made it look extremely ugly. I didn't really care for the story whatsoever, and I think the main strike against this is the ending. Listen, if a movie is just okay and it has a pretty powerful ending, or like it sticks to the landing, I can appreciate a little bit more, even though I think the movie is just kind of subpar overall. But for this one, it's just kind of a subpar movie, and then it just drops off of a cliff, and it's as if we're never going to land. You're just in a free fall, and then the credits roll. So I can understand why this film has been such a head scratcher for test audiences and stuff, because I was also scratching my head. I think when it got to the like end part where the husband is like explaining like why he's doing these things to the wife, you're just like, you're both insane. Maybe in some weird way you deserve each other, but like the way it's revealed and just the way it ends, it leaves more questions unanswered than answered, and it doesn't really have any definitive anything. And that's kind of annoying, because like if they were going for the whole ambiguous ending, like I would understand that. But for me personally, it just kind of this, like I said, rinse and repeat cycle type of movie. It's just going, all right, rinse and repeat, goes a little bit more, rinse and repeat. And then once we get to the finale of the film, you're like, oh wow, it's finally getting interesting. And then it just ends, and you're like, cool. I think that's what I said when it was done. I was like, thanks. Thanks, Deepwater, for wasting my time. But yes, I thought the overall story was just kind of, it didn't really have any nuance. There was nothing intriguing about it. It was just kind of like, yeah, this is the movie. Yeah, we're just going to keep doing it over and over again. And when it ends, I guess we'll just leave when we leave. But yeah, I didn't think the mystery of the film worked at all whatsoever. It kind of bored me to tears. And then, like I said, the erotic part didn't really do much for me either. It was just kind of like, yeah, it almost seemed like they were neutered a little bit, and they could have gone a little further. Maybe this is a good case study as to why Disney shouldn't do any more of these movies from 20th Century Studios, because it seemed like there was another movie, and Disney kind of like put their little hands in there, and they kind of just like, maybe we shouldn't put all this in there, even though it's rated R and it's not really under the Disney brand. It felt like a lot of meddling was in this film to make it just a very watered down Lifetime TV movie. I mean, that's basically what it was. So, yeah, I don't know what else more to say. It's a movie that I just don't like. I really don't. And the more I think about it, the more it just makes me angry. The more that the ending leaves a lot of stuff unsolved and just kind of out in the open. Just makes it seem like this was written as a TV show. Yes, so thank you for allowing me to come into your homes and just ramble on about a movie. And I don't think I really changed my mind while talking to this. I think I'm firmly planted that this is one of my least favorite ones of the year so far. So what did you guys think of Deepwater? Let me know. Am I crazy? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you also hate it? Did you think it was just okay and the ending didn't bother you? I want to know all your thoughts down below. But thank you for joining me in Movie Therapy. I am Chase, and I'll see you guys with the next session. Goodbye.